Well, good evening, everybody. This is the last panel for the day. Um, and I know I'm biased and all, but we say the best panel for last of the day. Because not just the people we have on the panel, but the topic we're going to speak about, one of my favorite topics, and that's collaborations. You know, I love collaborations because you get to see the brainchild between two or three different artists, but yet still the product itself stands on its own. And I'm so honored and privileged to have some of the most just prolific collaborators in our industry sitting on the stage with me. We were having a moment right before this started, and we were all saying, this right here is our dream. You know, this right here is our dream. So I know we'll be able to project all this energy out to you. You can feel our passions of what we do in general. Now, usually with these panels, I start off and I'm like, well, introduce who you are and tell us about your business and everything. But honestly, unless you've been living under a rock these last 3 years, you should know who all three of these ladies are on this panel. Right? Just come on, right? I mean, you have the co-founder and designer of EYE2EYE, Ms. Gherardi, you know, legend, EDC designer, 42 years, Gay? 42 years in this industry. And then you have the founders and just, I can't turn my TV on without seeing these two ladies anymore, anywhere, you know. Coco and Breezy Dotson, founders, creators, designers of Coco and Breezy eyewear. So really, I'm not going to ask you guys, I'll start with you, Coco. I'm not going to ask you who you are, explain your business, because I think we all know who you are in your business, but I would love to think about your two brands. For me, it's just the integrity behind your brands are just amazing. You know, when it comes to EYE2EYE, when it comes to Coco and Breezy, you guys design and present and market with such integrity. So if you could just both run me through, what are just the principles, the underlying principles you would say that are behind and uplift Coco and Breezy eyewear?
I think we start with one statement is we want someone to be able to walk out the house and have a conversation piece. So that's something we think about. And I think that when we first started, people would see our glasses and be afraid and say, I'm not cool enough to wear these. But now what we've noticed is that people that said that before, they wear our glasses. Because I think that the beautiful part about style is that it doesn't have to be in your clothing. If you're wearing eyewear every day, you want to walk out the house and wear a frame that makes you feel good, but then also you can step outside feeling like, you know, a person that has something that is a design, high quality piece. And something that we started off with as well, since we first started our company, was that we never put a gender on our product. And the eyewear industry tried to make us make a men's line and a women's line when we first started. And we always said we made unisex glasses. This is before it was a trend to say genderless. But when we first got into the eyewear industry, people were like, you have to separate men's frames and women's frames. Why are we still putting genders on glasses? They're glasses. It makes no sense.
And one thing, too, I'd like to add on is we're also looking at, the way that we look at Coco and Breezy eyewear is that we create a luxury experience, beautiful quality, but at an accessible price point. As we're noticing the market, I think that it's taboo in the eyewear industry. People think that the price equates to the quality, but that's fake. And we're being very transparent as a brand, and some people might hate us for this, but we do everything. We're vertically integrated. We do everything from the design process, handling the manufacturing. There's no middlemen or women, so we're able to provide a luxury experience at an accessible price point, and it's important for us because we really, really dive into understanding our data and our customers. And our customers right now, they don't necessarily want to spend $600 on a pair of glasses for a beautiful quality. And the way we look at our brand is that we can be luxury, but we also want to be like able to cater to the mass. Because we were those young girls that wanted to be stylish. We didn't come from money. So why would I make glasses that I wouldn't have been able to afford when I was younger? So we're providing a quality design piece at a price that is accessible.
I think when I think about bringing your whole undiluted self to wherever you are, I mean, I think about Coco and Breezy eyewear, man. Being yourself and be able to, you know, and not worry about what people think. And, you know, it's still at the same time be extremely fashion forward. So I mean, I think you guys have just done an amazing job, and the confidence that you guys have, and people, the project to people that are wearing and buying your eyewear is just insane right
Can
now.
I say one thing? It's actually really cool. It makes my heart melt because when I see people that wear our glasses that aren't fashionable, it makes me feel so happy that like our glasses kind of gives them that little bit of spunk. You know,
I feel it.
I'm like, I think that's awesome because I think a lot of times people saw us and they're like, I don't think Coco and Breezy Eyewear is going to do good in middle America. It's doing amazing because they need some spunk.
I love it. Ms. Gay Gherardi, 42 years in LA Works.
The legend.
The
We're
legendary.
honored to be on the stage with her. This is our dream, y'all.
Man. And by the way, you guys, my outfit today is inspired by an original Gay Gherardi outfit. I had to wear this today so that I could pay homage to this legend right here. So in general. So Gay, LA Works, 42 years. I love the story behind it that you've shared, and I've heard it. But what are the principles you think that uplift LA Works?
Well, I think, when Barbara and I began LAI Works, we weren't out to make a brand. I mean, we didn't even know really that there was such a thing as a brand, your brand. It wasn't about that. We wanted an umbrella, I'll call it, for doing the things that we wanted to do, and that under that we could present things in a way that we wanted to do that maybe would allow you to see something a little differently. And it was at the time like, you were searching around the radio for where the good music was. You were searching around town for where the good stuff was. And we just wanted to tell people where it was. We didn't want to have them hunt so hard for it. And for us, that was what glasses were about. And it was, so if you say, what is it about the brand? It was about sharing this and putting a framework in the, literally and figuratively, around an eyeglass frame that allows you to see something a little bit differently. And so maybe hopefully it's inclusive, hopefully it takes you somewhere you haven't been, hopefully it takes you to the music station that you were looking for but you didn't know existed. And it's really, those are the kinds of things that were interesting to us. And when Coco and Breezy talk about, wanting to make things that make somebody look good, yes, eyeglasses just give this permission to be whoever you want to be, to just enhance it. And we have always just thought about, okay, let's use these eyeglasses as a means of expression, a means of self-expression. And so that's really what it was about.
It's amazing. And we're going to get to discussing some of the collabs that all three of you ladies have done. But I think in order to truly have a discussion on collaborations, we need to go to where collaboration started. And Gay, with your longevity in this industry, in your earlier years, were there many designers that were doing collabs? And if so, do any stand out to you in general?
I'd have to give it to Alain Mickley. I think if you, in the 80s, in the very early 80s, before Alain had even any, and no one really had his eyewear in the U.S., we brought it in suitcase the very first time. We had it in 1980. And so I would say at the time, Alain Mickley was, he did the collection for Claude Montana. He had these wonderful, and I really want to call them collaborations because they weren't like now you think of as a licensing agreement of something really heavy. It's really intricate and involved, and it requires all these kinds of, all this information and legalities. Then the collaborative aspect of it was much easier and much freer. And Alain was making things for every fashion designer on the runway, a few for Gaultier, a few for Montana, a few for Chantal Thomas, just on and on. And I would say the same thing with Christian and Eric later on after Alain, and they were in the same way. I would have to say, their work was really very collaborative because they were just, making a few frames for some runway, but through that, it was real collaboration between, the designer, the fashion designer, and them. So, yeah.
I always thought it'd be so dope just to sit down like ones like you and Christian and Eric and Coco and Breezy, representing just a new wave and putting together a true Hall of Frames. Looking at eyewear throughout the years and these amazing collaborations throughout the years and just being able to tell a story. So maybe we can one day all sit in a room and
The
organize
fact that you just put our names next to all those legends, I feel honored. For real, because we like,
Hey, legends.
wow.
I'm going to have another wow moment with you right now, Breezy. You know I love a throwback, right?
Of course.
You know I love a throwback. So I was just like preparing on the flight here, and I was like, let me
my
just go
God.
through the Vision Expo archives,
What
right?
you got to do?
And I went to the Vision Expo archives, and we can put this on the screen, please. This is Vision Expo East, circa 2015.
Wow.
If we can put this up, that would be great.
Dwayne, you're in this picture. You can't see it back here, but you look young.
Dwayne
Dwayne's our co-founder.
Dwayne still looks young. He still looks young.
I know.
Yeah. But there's so much good. This is Vision Expo East 2015. You remember this game? This is a CFDA panel at Vision Expo East, and the style is fly now and fly then.
We didn't even have a booth then.
You didn't have a booth then. You were actually in the audience watching a panel, all right? And the best thing about this panel, number one, Dwayne is looking like we're going to take over the world in this panel, all right? But look at the guy. You never see this anymore. Someone's actually reaching over Coco and Breezy and take a photo of somebody else. Now they can't move around Vision Expo without getting stopped for photos, But I thought this was just so amazing going through the archives, but the eyewear, the style, and everything. And I think everyone that knows, what it was, knew you guys were going to be something. And Dwayne just is like, yeah, this is going to happen, and everything. This is going to happen. So that's Vision Expo East, circa 2015. And then Vision Expo West, circa 2015.
We made it on the stage.
Oh, look at that.
And again, this was the CFDA panel again.
That's
And
right.
remember that, Gay? All
I
of you went there.
Totally.
And then Salima said, I want to introduce you to these amazing eyewear designers out of New York and these two twin sisters. And she invited you on stage at that moment. But I just thought, it tells a really great story. And the career glow up is just insane right now looking at you guys now. But you guys were able to collaborate. One of your first collaborations was with Salima from Salima Optique.
Yeah, when we collaborated with her, it's when because when we first started our eyewear company, we were just embellishing frames, and that's how we got our start. And Salima saw us walking down Soho wearing our embellished frames, and so she stopped us, and she was like, who are you guys, and what are these glasses? And so we had, our first collaboration was us embellishing some of her frames, and Lady Gaga wore them. And after embellishing her frames, and us embellishing our frames, we were just like, we want to actually be in the eyewear industry, but no one would teach us how to design and produce eyewear. Everyone
And
kept that a secret.
Everybody,
Even the
kept
people
it a
that said
secret.
that they wanted to be our mentors, we figured that shit out by ourselves.
No one wanted to help tell us the process of a factory. No one told us that we had to create a CAD. No one told us we had to source acetate. We had to figure it out by ourselves.
Wow.
Nobody.
Wow.
But you know what we do now?
What's that?
If
We
you
share-
call Coco and Breezy, y'all know that we give you all the information. We let people come to our office and go through acetates.
Use our resources.
If you're a new eyewear designer, you're having an issue with your factory, I will get on the phone or do an email and I'll talk to the factory because I know all the lingo. No one wants to help us, and
I
that's
love-
fine.
What I love about that is
It's because that information is taboo. But the thing is like we're creating a new lane and a new wave, and like, fuck the taboo shit. Like, let's open up the market for everybody, especially black and brown people. It needs to be more eyewear designers, and the reason why there isn't is because of lack of access. And that's where we come in. I'm not going to charge people for the information. It's like, again, we had to search for that information. We had to work 10 times harder than everybody else. So I don't want our people to have to work as hard as we worked. So it's our duty to share it and give that information out.
100%. I think even through the pandemic, Coco, you and I spoke. You called me up and say, T, I found this new black eyewear designer. You have to just speak to them, talk to them. We're mentoring them. Maybe on the other side, you can mentor them as well.
Yep.
And I think you and I, we spoke about some of these black and brown eyewear designers. They starting out, and they have like three, three frames, three designs, and everything, and they want to go deeper. But some of these retailers are like, well, hit me back up
Yep.
when we can go deeper.
Wait, so this is my vision. And this is actually, again, something I think that we should do. And like any retailers that are here, If you look at your store and you think about like how many, like not to put like a how many black-owned companies you have, but let's do that. And you say there's 0, and you understand that like when we first started, we only had like 3 styles in our collection, and no store would pick us up. But I think that people need to make the chance and say, you know what? Let me carry your line. Maybe I'll carry your line for 6 months with your 3 pieces and see how it does. Because I think that we need to open the chance. And one thing that we did do was, so we just got into Nordstrom, which is exciting. I'm so excited we're in Nordstrom.
Yeah.
But
And
we're the first black-owned eyewear company to ever be in Nordstrom.
in history.
In history. But you know what we told them? We said we don't want to be the last. So I told them, I said,
Amen.
look, can we please create an initiative that I know that a lot of black-owned companies don't have full collections, but can you guys please make a space, even if it's like a 6-month pop-up, it can be a 1-month pop-up, to give these designers a chance, and they're working on it for us.
So if Nordstrom can do it, what's the message to optical retailers?
I had the message, this snob, because I feel like the optical retailers get a little snobby, and I had a conversation with someone, and they were trying to like do the Black Lives Matter thing on their website, but then I said, how many black-owned eyewear designers do you have in your store? And she said none. And then she also said, and she's like, well, you know, I'm like, I have a couple of people, but they only have a couple SKUs. She's like, well, that's the problem. I'm like, you have to bet on those folks, because that's the reason why they have a couple of SKUs is because the lack of access, the lack of capital. But if you give those people a chance, it's like they could make more money to be able to produce more SKUs. What does it hurt to bring in a small amount of SKUs for a brand who is really dope, but they don't have the access? So that's a problem. So if there's any optical shops and you look in your store and you have no black-owned eyewear designers, that's a problem, because there's amazing black-owned. There's some over there. There's some other black-owned eyewear designers that probably around here. Ask us. We'll give you a list. But that's an issue, because what happens is we've had stores also tell us to not have black and brown people in our marketing campaigns because they don't have black customers. That's a problem. That's where they had me messed up. Because the reason why there's no black customers is because you're not allowing black marketing, 'cause you're not trying to have them in your store. And now that I'm at Vision Expo, I'm not being quiet, because now I've got success.
We
So
used to
I
be
don't
quiet.
care. I don't care what anyone thinks about me, because I think it's my job and my duty to use my power now
Definitely.
to speak up about these uncomfortable conversations.
Definitely.
Yo, Terrence, we used to be kind of quiet.
We did, right?
It's different now.
We
Y'all,
did.
look, hold on.
I'm sorry,
It's different.
I told you the career glow up.
It really, y'all, it's like literally, we used to come in here really timid. Now, not to say you can't tell me nothing, but like it's our job to use our platform to change the industry.
Yeah, so while we're at it, shout out to Von Tell Eyewear, shout out to CEV Eyewear, shout out to Eye Candy Creations, shout out to Alexandros Eyewear, shout out to Kazuku. They all have booths here at Vision Expo, so shout out to all of them as well. Go there, definitely check them out. But no, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
That's why you had us on
That's
here.
what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay, we're going to come back to this, though. We're going to come back to this. Gay, I was going through the archives, and I found this
I'm just a
beautiful.
white girl sitting here, and this is tough.
I mean, it's tough that when we're the only black people that had a booth here at Vision Expo
I
for
totally
years.
get it.
You had it way better than us, sis.
Definitely. Definitely. Gay, I was going through the archives, and I found this piece here. You and fellow eyewear designer, EDC FDA designer, Blake Kawahara put this piece out in 2016. And I love about this piece because you see the LAI works here, and you see the Blake Kawahara in this piece. So how is it working with another fellow designer to make sure that the finished product reflects the vision of both designers?
Well, I think this was collaboration is just really about, the two of you make more than, 1 + 1 is more than 2. And really that's what it's about. It, like in any partnership, you get something bigger than what was involved. And so that's the hope in collaboration, that magic happens, that you share ideas and something comes through. This was so easy for us because we looked at it and we thought, you know what, let's just sort of, put an LAI Works frame inside a Blake Kawahara frame, and we arrived at it kind of at the same time through conversation. And I wish I could make it more complicated, but it was so easy and so fun and so really poetic. And yeah.
So when you're looking for, because I know you've done this with Blake, you've done other like local collaborations and collaborations with the cause. How do you go about choosing what path to go about, or who to be able to collaborate with?
I really really can't. I have to say that I want to kind of rethink the whole idea of collaboration. And I think collaboration really, ultimately, is the ultimate collaboration is someone wearing our eyewear. And because it takes your face.
Yes.
It takes you to give it, it takes the person wearing the glasses to give it life. And so, Collab's really fun to talk about, really fun to do, and it's good, it's strong on buzz right now and thrilling. And I hope that there'll be more and more and more in between brands. I hope it'll break down some of the barriers that exist so that brands can collaborate in a beautiful way. But ultimately, the ultimate collaboration is really with the end wearer. And, for me, that's everything. It's giving life to something you've made,
It's beautiful.
Those
It's
are beautiful, by the way.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I've always adored those.
Right? They're gorgeous. I can't wait to see the next version whenever it does come out.
We'll see.
But no, it's beautiful, Gray.
The goddesses be good.
Definitely, definitely. I'll just ask all three of you this question. You think about brands that consumers following when they come out with a collaboration. The consumers are really excited about it. They get it, right? They follow these brands. They get it. The optical industry with some of the retail stores, they may not follow these brands as closely. So, how do you get optical retailers as excited about a brand collaboration as they do with consumers? Is there anything you do with marketing? Anything you do with what you tell those on your sales floor? What do you do to cause this excitement for a collaboration?
I think that the big part is the story behind it, because most collaborations have a story behind them, and if you share the story about what came about the collaboration, whether if it's like a brand with an influencer or a brand with a celebrity or a brand with a brand, there's always a story or a concept. And I think that storytelling is so important. And when you have that story, and as a retailer, you're able to bring that to the consumer and make them just as excited as well.
Yeah, and I think that I would my words exactly would be about this. It's the story and how to share that story, and that's the information. Buyers, shop owners, have often come to the realities long after the public. And so any words that you can convey and the stories that you can tell and that you can share about what your intentions were and what was going on, give power to the retailer, and so that they can share the story. And I think that that's empowering, and I think that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, amazing. I like that a lot. Before I go on to the next question, if we could take the picture of the frame down for a minute. Gay, I think about eyewear collaborations, but collaborations go far between just a physical product that we can wear. Recently, my friend and now coworker Jeff Press posted a picture of a book that came out from LAI Works years ago, a campaign, Framed.
I have that book.
You have it too, right? I have stacks of that book. I give them as gifts away. When people open up opticals.
Thank you.
Can you explain to us, for those of us who don't know what Framed is, what was the story behind that campaign?
Well, it's alive. It's not a was. It's an is. Our ad campaign began with a collaboration with Greg Gorman, a very renowned photographer who was from Los Angeles, starting his career. And the idea is that we wanted to celebrate faces, not just the face from the fashion model, the number 10 beautiful whatever. We wanted to be celebratory of the face in all its diversity. And at the time, it was the 80s, and off came the hair. It was it was half punk, half new wave at the same time. The streets were on fire, and everyone looked so gorgeous, but nothing kind of matched up with anything that was going on. We still had the same dead-looking glasses with giant logos, and there's nothing wrong with giant logos, don't get me wrong, but at the time, and we just wanted to peel all that away and just be very celebratory of the face. And so we had a tagline called "A Face is Like a Work of Art. It deserves a great frame." It's been our tagline for our ad campaign, a black and white ad campaign. And we began photographing, beautiful people in all of their glory. And they could have been they could have been a drag queen. They could have been a poet. They could have been somebody who was a winemaker. They could have been a celebrity on the way. They could have been somebody who became governor. It was at a time when we were just feeling like it was important to put our frames on this very diverse group of people that were available to us in Los Angeles. It wasn't like, we were lucky. There was a lot of good fortune in it. You couldn't really do as much of that today without, as I said before, licensing and the laws and what have you. It was much less complicated then than it is now. Somebody would come in the shop, they'd say or they'd call, Andy Warhol, ask us to do an ad. What the hell? I mean, that would not happen. But maybe it would today. It just depends where you are. I'm sure you'll get a knock on the door from somebody that you're just dying over, and and it can happen. So that was how it began, and it has continued with our relationship with Greg Gorman, and as I said, the collaboration with a photographer and stylist and a groomer, and we had access to this gorgeous talent.
And so if you do not own a copy of Framed, definitely go out there and get it. It's a part of our heritage. It's a book that I continue to just open up constantly and look at it and just awe. So, and I think Jeff Press said it best. There is no campaign that he's seen that's topped that yet. So just, well done in general. This year I was, we did Art the Collab virtually this year. Yep. And I kind of got an exclusive on a Coco and Breezy collab on that one. Zenny announced their first ever collaboration with another eyewear designer, and that was Coco and Breezy Eyewear, Planet CB. I mean, if we can go ahead and show, so Coco and Breezy, how is it that when you're collaborating with such a large company like Zenny, how do you make sure that your vision, with the things that you stand for, are still very much in the forefront of that collaboration?
So anyone that we collaborate with, we definitely always make sure that we get our full vision. And so with this collaboration, we actually did everything from the eyewear design to the UX website design to the creative direction for the campaign to the marketing initiative. We were hands in on everything. Since it is a big company, for us, we wanted to make sure that it was our full vision. But it was important for us to collaborate with them on a kids line because we wanted to make accessible kids eyewear that, again, I'm thinking about my younger self. I couldn't afford glasses that were expensive. And so we thought it would be a perfect match for us to collaborate with them. And it was really beautiful because when we were thinking about this collaboration, it was during the pandemic. So even this campaign, we were in lockdown. We had to shoot everything virtually. So these photos were shot on FaceTime.
On an
because
iPhone.
Literally we couldn't leave the house in New York. And we had this huge plan to shoot this big campaign, but then everything shut down, timing. So we literally did everything virtually. And about this collaboration, since all the kids were stuck in the house, it was very inspired by positivity. So all the glasses are named with affirmations. And the whole messaging is just about building your world, building community. There's a percentage that goes to Child Mind Institute, which gives back to Black community or Black families that go through mental health as well. So that was important for us to be able to tell them that we wanted to give back. That was our give back.
And the fun part is that all the glasses are under $40. And I think that it's the eyewear industry is afraid of the Warby Parkers. They're afraid of the Zennies. But we had, this was about 4 years ago, we said we're going to do a collaboration with a Warby Parker or a Zenny on a kids line. We manifested it, and finally found somebody at Zenny, and we pitched this whole deck. So they didn't come to us, we came to them. We pitched the whole deck with this idea, and they were so for it, and they literally let our whole team take over. I think that if it was one of those collaborations where we just approved the design and didn't do anything else, it wouldn't be us. But we literally did everything in collaboration with them, with our vision. And this is probably one of my most proud moments, to be able to provide glasses under $40 with prescription for kids, because kids get bullied when they wear glasses that don't look good. Now kids can be able to go outside, say, I am powerful, I am happy, and actually look fly in their frames.
Man, well done. Well done. Yeah, let's definitely give it up for that. Definitely give it up for that. Yeah. We can take that picture down. I want to talk about something that we spoke about earlier, but I just think it's so important in general. Last year, the Vision Council, we conducted an industry diversity and inclusion survey, right? Many of you took it and responded. And 60% of people responded that they feel represented in the marketing. When you broke that number down, that was about 37% of people of color felt that way. When you broke that number down of the LGBTQ community, 38% felt that way, and versus to non, I'm saying, in both. And the same thing with women. So it's heavily skewed mostly to white men and women, cisgendered white men and women in general. To me, when I think about marketing, representation, inclusion as well, I think we have the industry standard sitting right here, on the stage. I mean, both of you and your brands, you infuse representation, you infuse inclusion in your brands in general. But let's talk about collaborations. How do you both how do you three make sure that when you're collaborating with a brand, I'll say with you, Gay, that it embodies and infuses representation all the way through this collaboration when it comes to what it is and what the marketing looks like?
It's so hard to, I don't want to make something up, something that's bigger than it is, because it's been an organic process for us. And and when called to, question and describe it, it feels disingenuous. It feels, to begin to break it down and say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do that. That hasn't been our experience. That's not to discount that this is so critically important to make those moves. But our experience has been that, when I started, the very first question you said, what was LAI Works about? What was it? Well, it was to make this umbrella for a different perspective and to reflect our community and to be, reflect our community. I can't say it any more clearly. And our community is very, very colorful and very interesting. And those are our friends, and that's what we wanted to reflect. There was so I can't make up anything lofty to say about it other than for us, that was our goal, to find the good music, represent our community, talk to our friends through everything we did, through our windows, through our ad campaign, was to speak to our friends through that, and that's what it has been and what it remains to this day. And so, I can't figure out another way to say it.
It's the LAI Works DNA.
It's easier for someone else to say that than for me to try to articulate it, because I don't want, there wasn't a formula. It was organic, and it came from the life we were living, and that's what we wanted to represent to our friends. So any other way would have been completely disingenuous.
Oh, absolutely. Well said. Ladies?
I think we're on the other side because organically we've had to fight stores to accept our inclusive marketing, and that's a problem, because I think that when there's other non-black people that show black and brown people, it's accepted. But us being a black brand, we've had stores tell us your brand looks too black when there's too many black people in your campaigns, and so we've been fighting. And I've even told stores, well, you don't have to carry our brand then,
There was a chain that had like 30 locations, and this guy really told us, your brand looks too black. And I was like, well, don't carry our product. But he ended up carrying it because it's selling well,
I hear that.
But I think the big part, or you want to go?
I think the big part is that if we just put myself out of it, because it's organic for us as well. I mean, like, naturally, I think even starting on the inside of our team, being like, we've had people with disabilities on our team. We've had, people from the LGBTQ community. That's me. You know, we've had, and we make sure that even for Pride, that like anyone working on the marketing campaign is someone that is queer. I'm not gonna have a straight person working on the Pride Month. That doesn't make sense. You know, so with me and that other person hands that down. So it's also being very thoughtful and intentional when it comes to those type of like things as well. And so it's very organic for us, but I think that just anyone in this room, it's just important to look at people that are just people and then think about the people who are not marketed to. Like, we are all people. Black people spend almost $3 trillion a year, and we're the least that people market to. Like, we've been spending all of our lives all year going to the store, buying products, seeing a white woman with blonde hair, and still having to relate to that. And I think that on the other side of it, just being very transparent, it's almost interesting because when you see a black or brown person in a campaign, a non-black person can't see themselves and they can't relate themselves because they've been marketed to their whole lives. And so I think that we all should just you all should just open your minds up and just see people as people and understand that it is important to market to people, especially black and brown people that aren't marketed to.
And I also think that we all, not to get social and everything, but I think that we're talking about these conversations of, you know, the things that have been happening in this past couple of years, but like it's the reality of what's been happening in America. And I think that we can't be afraid of these conversations and knowing the history. So now for the people, like for us, it's all natural, right? But for the people that may not know, it's okay to say, hey, you know what, let me sit down and maybe we haven't, like, you do what's natural to you, but now it's time to like push the limit and understand that there's more than one type of person in the world, and there's more than, you know, like, don't be afraid to open it up. And it's okay that if it feels new, just know that like America has not been right to the world, you know? And so I'm so excited now that we can have these sort of conversations, and I'm so happy that y'all are all listening. And your book, when I first saw it, I was like, yo, you were so ahead of your time. Seriously, because that was so natural to you. And I think it's so beautiful. You were such an inspiration. Because like you literally were showing your community, which shows who you
know
are.
What? You all are ahead of your time. You're ahead of my time. And that's what, you know, and so this is how it works. You know, this is how it works. And we hand it off back and forth and hand it off back and forth. So, yeah, I hand it back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So last question, ladies. Collaborations. I mean, you three of you have done so many amazing things, and I hate to be greedy to ask for more, but I'm going to ask for more. And you know, if you can share, if not, it's okay. We could just wait and see. And I like surprise as well. What's next when it comes to LA Works and Coco and Breezy Eyewear?
I have an exclusive, but y'all can't tell nobody.
Hang on. I love Coco and Breezy exclusives.
Oh yeah, this is a good exclusive.
That happen on my stage.
So it doesn't leave this space. But do you all know the sandal company called Teva?
Yeah.
So we're doing a sandal collection and eyewear that's going to be launching in 2022, and it's really fire.
And I think for us,
wow, that's major.
I think we love collaborating with brands that are opposite than us, but that still somewhat relate to us. I think it's important, like a Zenni, who's like super commercial, but like us being edgy, you know, or a Teva, again, who's kind of commercial, but we're nature girls, but like we're able to put our brand identity on there. So I think it's like a juxtaposition of like collaborating with the opposite, because the whole point is when you're doing collaboration, you're also thinking about how can you cross promote and like also get each other's customers as well, and what feels organic. So we're super excited about that collaboration.
So don't tell nobody, y'all.
Oh man, I love that you guys save these announcements to hang out with me. I love this. You know, I can't wait. So congratulations, lady. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And also, I know everyone's been calling it Teva. I just found out it's Teva. I've been calling it Teva too. For real.
I would have.
Gay, anything to share?
Nothing, nothing, but that could change tomorrow.
I know. I mean,
and that's how it is. That's the nature of it. Nothing planned right now, but could change tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. 42 years. I mean, 42 years of giving us what we need.
Legend.
Thank you.
Give it up.
Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. I got a bit of an announcement to make, actually. I mean, Coco and Breezy ain't only with the news on stage. You know, during the pandemic, I sat back and I got into the collaboration world as well. You know, I started off with my collaborations with frame chains. And I started thinking to myself during the pandemic, because I had a lot more time on my hands. I think everyone, started thinking about what they can do different and new, right? And I think about people like Carpaccio. I think about people like, even Louboutin. But we think about the definition of like a nude frame, right? When someone said they wanted a nude colored frame, if Coco, Breezy, and I put a nude colored frame in the eyewear industry on, it would not be a nude for us, right? It would just be a pop of pink or blush for us. And I think to myself, how can we redefine what the term nude means when it comes to eyewear? Colors that fit people of my complexion, nudes that fit of your complexion, nudes that fit of the two of your complexion as well. And out of the blue, I got a phone call from a good friend of mine, Anna Corinne, and she said, I would love to do a collaboration with you. And I said, I have an idea. That's something I've been thinking about as well. So today, it's being released. It's the Color of Change frame. We are redefining what nude means to the industry right now. And we are coming out with the first color wave. This is a special edition. It's 10 frames, and we're donating 100% all the proceeds to the Opening Your Eyes Scholarship.
Wow.
To send underrepresented minority high school seniors to Opticianry College. And if you have opportunity, we have the first 7 scholarship recipients here at the show. They were here earlier. They'll be here tomorrow. Please stop them. They're here for the first time. They need to be welcomed in this industry. They are very excited to be here. And I'm going to tell you, if this is what the future of eye care looks like, we are in really good shape with these 7 people, and it's going to multiply from there. So this is the first color wave. It's starting off at a nice caramel. We're going to get darker and darker and darker and darker as the plans go. So that's my big news when it comes to collaboration.
Congratulations.
I'm going big. It's going to retail for $2,000.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to retail for $2,000. Yep.
I got to save my coins up.
Yeah. Definitely. Ladies, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your
Thank you.
stories. I mean, I can never get enough hearing all your stories.
Wait, we need to give you your flowers, Terrence. I have to say, when no one else supported us, you supported us at Vision Expo. And I'm just so grateful for you because you really looked out for us. You have no idea how much you mean to us.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Terrence. And if you saw that photo of us, we look like young, hungry, thirsty, like we're about to make it into this eyewear industry, young girls. And we literally, I don't even know if we had a full collection yet, but we were like running the streets. And then Terrence and Transitions both changed our lives in the industry, for real. So thank you, T.
Appreciate that, but I can't take the credit. I mean, I was new in this industry too when I met you guys.
No, you have to take the credit.
And Salima, because when she always talked us up in front of everybody.
But I think you should take the credit because for Vision Expo, though, when we, again, like people would walk around and just be like, are you guys models? But thank you for the compliment, but I'm a founder, I'm a boss bitch. I have my own eyewear company. Like, I appreciate the compliment, but again, people didn't take us seriously for years. And you really were the one that gave us a booth and gave us you gave us opportunity. And that's something that I'll never forget. So just take your flowers and receive it.
I definitely will. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Gabe, appreciate you as well. And that ends. I mean, we're going to be around. I think we got some champagne, right?
You know, Terrence turns up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, did he leave?
I don't think we do anymore. Sorry.
Damn.
But if you find a glass, give it to me. Anyway, everybody, this ends our panels for the day. Enjoy the rest of your day for day 1 of Vision Expo West. We'll see you all tomorrow. We got a lot of great content for you tomorrow. Come back to the scene stage. And we love everybody listening from home, streaming us live.